I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic, nation, indivisible, liberty. Okay, the first order of business on the agenda, getting the new year, is to the election of officers. So we would open the nominations for president.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. I will abstain. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we need vice president.
I nominate Maurice Langer for vice president.
I would second that.
I will abstain.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Nathan?
Good evening. A couple of updates and requests for you. First, on the courthouse project. As I put into an email, I think just before Christmas, believe that we have reached the point at which we have made enough project revisions to have brought it within budget without cutting any corners. We still have some details to work out on the HVAC system, regarding which we have a meeting tomorrow. We need to reach a consensus on what we will present for a base bid and for alternates for the building's windows, but otherwise our architects are just about ready to commit the agreed upon changes to drawing so that we can move forward with the rebidding process. It's been a very hectic 6 or 7 weeks of going through all of this, but I think that we have gotten to a place where the building will still obviously be in much better condition, be much more user-friendly while still being within budget. In December, I had spoken to you about a copy machine for the Justice Center basement for the use primarily by the clerk's office because of the significant number of files they have in storage down there. Worked with the auditor and Chuck on hashing out some of the details, getting in touch with Cardinal Copiers, and we have everything in place that should be installed later this week. I think it's $125 lease because the clerk's office only needed black and white and not color purposes. And I imagine anyone else who has files stored down there and needs to copy will be able to make all for the duration. It's a 2-year lease, so it will coincide roughly with the project and getting everyone back in. And I think with just 30 days or 60 days notice, we can break that lease or penalty if done with it before time period. Any questions on the courthouse?
When you've been looking at the cuts and so on, get the original scale that we had out there, if there's any contingencies?
Contingencies are still included, yes. And the way contingency is structured, it's a percentage of costs, so of certain parts of the cost. So as the project is trimmed, the contingency is trimmed proportionately.
The
But we still,
Justice Center, they had their contingencies and we had ours.
and it's the same thing.
Okay.
A couple of things on restructuring. Our first Economic Development Commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday evening of this week, while the Redevelopment Commission will have its first meeting a week from tonight. I am still working on scheduling the Industrial Park Board meeting, which tentatively is going to be on Friday over the lunch hour, and the Tourism Advisory Committee. As of now, as per last year's adopted schedule, first C.D.C meeting of the year under the new structure is scheduled for 2 weeks from tonight. That said, we still are actively looking for one candidate each for the Industrial Park Board and the C.D.C. And then one other thing related to the restructuring, pursuant to Indiana Code 36.7.14.7, redevelopment commissioners required to be bonded in the amount of $15,000. Spoken with the auditor's office and with Teresa Calloway at Shepherd Insurance, who has sent the application to me, in which I will be disseminating to each of the commissioners. She estimated the cost at $100 per bond, which the C.D.C budget can cover. according to state law. The commissioners have to approve this, but I don't know if this is something you approve now before we do it or after we've gotten everything from them. But I did want you to know that we do need to get these 7 redevelopment commissioners.
Okay.
Any questions on the restructuring? All right, then one other thing that didn't make it on the agenda for my appointment, just because of miscommunication between me and the auditor's office. But there is a housing development opportunity that I need to apprise you of, because it will require some sign-offs from the commission. A Carmel-based developer with Winnemac ties has been working with his team, me, Winnemac Town Manager Brad Zellers, and a local property owner on plans for a multifamily housing development east of the Winnemac Plaza, behind Sanders, Ace Hardware, CVS. Company will be applying for special allocation tax credits from the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority to support this project. This is a special allocation that has room for 2 projects, and the 2 projects may be built in only 4 counties. So theoretically, 2 both could go to one of the 4 counties, but there are only 4 counties eligible for this, Pulaski County being one of them, because we have so few units in the county that have previously received tax credits from the IHCD. They will have a stronger application if their proposal aligns with the local redevelopment or development plan. This property is technically already included in the strategic housing plan that the Housing Resource Hub developed for us through the long process of working with us over the last 1.5 years or so. However, because that whole process is focused primarily on what they call the catalyst site, which we have been targeting for the county farm, it doesn't address this site in detail. And there are certain specific things about the site and plans for redevelopment that need to be addressed in that plan. So what I am working on currently and intend to present to the commissioners at your meeting in 2 weeks is what we'll say is an addendum to the existing strategic plan that was built in 2021, focused exclusively on housing. And really it'll just take these sites that we've already addressed, plus a few other potential sites that didn't make it into that plan, and flesh out their details. In one respect, obviously we're pushing this quickly so that we can support this project, but it will also help us to have a broader vision for opportunities for housing across the county than the sites that the housing task force had really sort of narrowed in on. So I will get that to you in advance of the meeting so I can address any questions, concerns you may have. Hope to have that in front of you at your mid-January. And like any plan, it'll be a living, breathing, flexible document that as things are addressed in it or as other opportunities come on the radar, we can make adjustments to suit the ever-changing needs of the community. Relatedly, in order for the project to meet minimum eligibility requirements, their application has to be able to show material support from the local entities, whether it's the county, town, both other qualifying partners. We don't have to commit any one or more specific forms of support yet. We just need to present a letter to them saying, and the town council will be submitting one, and the county council will present one too, saying that we believe that this project would fill a need in our community, and so we support it. Some of the options that could be considered is the town might waive some of the fees involved with utilities, or land might be donated or sold at a discount. Town council, on the recommendation of the Economic Development Commission, might grant a residential tax abatement. The Redevelopment Commission might look into a TIF district funding in that. There are a lot of options, and all we have to say is these are the many possibilities that are out there, and as the project progresses, we will work with the town, the county council, and the developer to figure out what the best means of supporting this project that creates this little risk for the county while still supporting it are. So likewise, I will get that out to you in advance of the meeting so that any questions or concerns can be addressed before I present it to you formally at the mid-January. Any questions on this housing project?
That's something that Kevin needs to review as well before you bring it to us.
Yeah, I'll make sure Kevin sees you.
So we have the other sites still continuing.
Yes, this is,
And this would be an add-on to
Yes.
that, two
Yep.
different sites.
and they're going to build 2 phases. I think their plan is for around 35 units, 30, I guess probably 32 or 36. I think they're mostly in like 4-unit complexes. But if the need arises, the property, I think, has the capacity to accommodate close to 50. And they're all 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
Any other questions? Nathan?
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to the approval and signing of claims and payroll 26.
Okay, I've reviewed payroll 26 and the claims, and I make a motion to approve as presented.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we also received a copy of the minutes, email. Time to look at those. Approval. The minutes of the December 18th meeting.
I've looked at those minutes, and I make a motion to approve as presented.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion on the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then we have the 2 KIRPC representations. Nathan and I had served on this past couple of years. Meetings are held in Monon, so be glad to serve on that again if that's the desire of the board. And Nathan, I assume you're willing to serve on that as well?
I would second that motion.
Other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we have several bonds to approve and sign. I'll just read down through the list. The Deputy Treasurer, Diane Hanson, $150,000 bonded. Aviation, Darren Wilder, $30,000 bonded. Sheriff Chris Ram, $30,000 bonded. Clerk, Jolynn Bainey, $60,000. Recorder, Marcia Tetzloff, $30,000. Assessor, Holly Vanderay, $30,000. Auditor, Laura Wheeler, $30,000. Cycling and transfer, John Kagerais, $1,000. Get a motion to approve these bonds. Present here to sign.
Okay, so I would make a
Okay.
motion to approve those bonds on the assessor, the Holly Vanderay, the auditor approves that one.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have a discussion item here. We have our insurance coming due. Listed on the discussion items there, we have the airport liability and the storage tank liability. The field general liability, $4,276. Storage tank liability was $1,031. Darren, you have any comments or anything on this? And this is, we can probably do them all together since it's on one claim, actually. We have the workman's compensation. came in at 97,961. Jenny, look back at last year's, that total comes, of the three is 103,268. Last year, paid $137,012. So there's about a $34,000 deduction in those premiums. Good news. So we've been in a motion to approve that from the Novotny and Associates Insurance, who we have the coverage with.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the coverage.
Other discussion? Favor say aye.
Aye.
Community comments? Gary, do you have anything? One? Kevin, anything? Yeah, we will have corrected, I think, look at the agenda, the next commissioners meeting is on Tuesday, the 16th, is our morning meeting at 8:30, not the 6 o'clock. We'll get that corrected in the paper as well. No other discussion? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries.